guys, this is Carrie with Fullerton's Professional Organizing, and I want to give you some ideas for decluttering your home in a weekend. Now, first things first is you'll have to put your decluttering weekend on the calendar because you'll need to schedule from, just so that you're not taking up the whole day and wearing yourself out. I would schedule some prep time for Friday evening, and then on Saturday I would keep your organizing from 9 a.m. to 12, and then from 1 to 4, and then take the evening off, and then Sunday morning go to church, and then from 1 to 4 finish the rest of your weekend out with the decluttering. I would also, because it's only a weekend, normally I would tell you to start with the easiest space to organize if you were going to take more time. But when you're working just to get as much done as you can on a weekend, I would start with the hardest and work down to the easiest space, so that you can use that time on Sunday to do the easier spaces. But we'll talk about that as we go along. So now, after the whole house is decluttered, you're going to want to have a designated spot for everything that you're going to get rid of. So try to find a place, and after you've completed the whole house declutter, you'll have a designated spot for everything, and it'll be easier to find, and you'll be able to put it away when it's finished. Now, since everything's going to be easier to find and easier to put away, it really is going to save you a lot of time, and it is going to also make housework a lot easier, because once everything has a designated space, then you can put things up quickly, and it really is going to save you a lot of time. Now, decluttering is far from one size fits all. The amount of time it will take to declutter your whole house will determine on the size of your home, the amount of stuff, how often you've decluttered in the past, the number of people that live in the home, and the number of people working on the decluttering, the level of focus by participants during the decluttering, and how particular you want to be about the decluttering and reorganizing process. Since you have just a Saturday and a Sunday, I would make my decisions as quickly as possible. You want to make a donate, sell, keep. Well, the keep stuff you're going to leave in that room, but then you're going to make a donate, sell, keep, and trash. You may be done in more or less time depending on the factors listed above. You may not get the entire home done in a weekend. It just depends. But you can get a lot done. On Friday night, you can spend 3 to 4 hours getting ready, making sure you have all your supplies. Saturday, like I said, 9 to 12 is good, and 1 to 4 is good. Sunday, 1 to 4 is good. And then don't worry about discarding and donating and selling items until Monday. Before you start sorting or getting rid of anything, straighten the house up. That'll be your Friday prep. Just straightening the house. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just make sure you get everything off of the flat surfaces, the floor and all the flat surfaces. I would take a laundry basket. I'd have a laundry basket for each room, or a box for each room, and everything that's on the flat surfaces that doesn't belong, put it in that basket. And that may be the first thing you declutter in that room when you get started on Saturday morning. But that will make the process go a lot easier, and you'll be ready to go. Now, if you have a junk room, that's what this weekend is for. You may wind up starting in the junk room. Now, what you can also do on Friday night is make a list of all the spaces in your home. Next, you will get each space a letter A, B, or C, or just the messiest rooms. List them all the way to the least messy spaces, cluttered spaces, not necessarily messy. And that way, you might want to start, just make that list. Would be a space that you can pretty easy. B is your easier spaces, C is your most cluttered spaces, and A would be your least cluttered spaces. Just go ahead and list them so that you can tackle them one at a time. You may want to just designate your messiest spaces to an hour and a half. Your B spaces, an hour. And your A spaces, just a half an hour. Just slot it out so that you are spending just that amount of time in those spaces. Now, those messiest spaces may need you to come back for another hour and a half and switch up between spaces. But I think it just depends. Like if you're doing a garage, or if you don't live in where I live, you might have a basement. Those are probably your messiest spaces. And so those are going to take a lot more time. So you can either get those done first, or you can save those for another weekend, because those are really not your living spaces. You could just designate your weekend to just the living spaces, or you can dedicate the weekend to just the garage and the basement, and then try to get as much done in the home. It just depends on what your priority is for your family right now. And make sure you schedule in your meal times. Make sure it's something easy like cereal, sandwiches, quick and easy, so you can get back on task. Start with a room that you're looking the most forward to having cleaned or decluttered. For most people, this would be the personal space, like their bedroom or office. For others, it might be the space that drives them the craziest with clutter, like kitchen or storage room. One of the hardest parts of decluttering is just getting started. So starting with a space that means something to you to make that easier. Finding your why. Why do you want to declutter? What is going to motivate you? Once you get started, it's easier to keep the momentum going. After your favorite room, I would recommend tackling your hardest spaces. You have momentum started, and if you can get one of the toughest spots out of the way near the beginning, you can give you motivation to keep going. Now, you could alternate the hardest space with an easier space, harder space and an easier space. And if you need to do that if that is what's going to keep you motivated. But you could save all the easiest spaces for the afternoon and on Sunday. But it depends on how much you get done Saturday morning. So Saturday morning is usually going to be spent tackling all the hardest clutter, and then Sunday afternoon the easier spaces. Yeah, just schedule your lowest priority rooms near the end of Sunday so that you have time to go to church Sunday morning. All right, and then we already talked about making sure you schedule your meal time. And now think about entertainment. Some people like to use music, some people like to listen to a podcast or YouTube. Make sure you plan something that keeps you energized and motivated, but isn't distracting you from getting your work done. Something that you can just listen to and make the time go by faster. You know yourself best. The purpose of planning out entertainment is to give yourself something that will make the decluttering more enjoyable without distracting you from the task at hand. Take a few minutes to make a playlist of whatever that you're going to use for your entertainment. Now, I also recommend designating, and I think I mentioned this at the beginning, designate a space in your house where you will put bags and boxes of items that you round up during the decluttering process. Of course, whatever space you're going to be in, you're definitely going to you're going to gather up that stuff for that room. But then when you're finished with that room, take all of those to a designated spot so you get it out of that room. If you're not sure of the best places to donate items, put out a post on Facebook. Put out a post on Facebook. Ask your friends and family where to donate items. And I'm sure they have a lot of ideas for you. Then there's Facebook Marketplace, local buy sell Facebook groups, Craigslist. Those are all spaces that you can sell your items. Now, gathering your supplies. This is all stuff that you're working on Friday, so you're getting all of this ready for Saturday. Gather up some garbage cans and boxes, whatever you're going to use to discard and donate. Keep two, let's see here. Yeah, you're going to keep 2 garbage bags with you in your hand at all times during the whole house clutter. The first is your actual trash. The second one is to donate. Like if you're going to put all clothes in one bag, use a piece of tape, masking tape, and a marker, and label it all women's clothes, all men's clothes, all toys, etc. That way when you do donate it to a place like Goodwill or any of those places, or even a church, they'll know exactly what's in it before they even open the bag. Now, trash bag, a donate bag, a sell bag, those are all bags to have handy for the decluttering process. And again, like I said, use masking tape and a Sharpie marker to label whether it's for sale, donate, trash, clothes, toys. And it might be a good idea to have some Ziploc bags. I love organizing with Ziploc bags personally. If I have a bag full of wires, I will put all those wires, computer wires, in one bag. Or if I have phone cables, I will put those all in one bag. Um, but like for children, if you're decluttering their room and you come across some puzzle pieces, you might want to put those in a Ziploc bag, so when you find the whole puzzle, you had a place to put all those little pieces that you found. Sometimes you might come across a set of something that was you were getting rid of and would want to keep it all together. So those are small bags. Just keep everything together, whether it's something you're getting rid of or keeping. And you can punch holes in those bags too, so that if you can squeeze out the air, and those bags full of items will take up a lot less space if you can squeeze out the air. I just use a hole punch. I learned that when I used to be a teacher. And then don't forget, you're going to need a water bottle so that you can have something to drink throughout the day. Don't forget to hydrate, especially if you are spending the weekend in your garage. Make sure you have plenty of water to drink. And your mindset, keep in mind all your things that you're keeping, your favorite items. When Marie Kondo came on the scene, she says, don't worry about all the things you're getting rid of. Just concentrate on all the items that you're going to keep, the things that really spark joy. Going into the decluttering process with the assumption that everything is going and you're just going to hold on to the things that you absolutely need and love makes it a lot easier to let go of the items that you just feel not that excited about and don't really use. Now, your goal for the weekend isn't for everything to look Pinterest perfect by the end, with everything in matching baskets with fancy labels. It is to get rid of the clutter so that you can see what you have left in order to create a system that you can use, so that you can use what is left in your home. Don't go out and buy any organizing items before you do the complete decluttering weekend. This weekend will help clear out any unnecessary stuff, giving you empty space to breathe, and it will also can make the items you already have function more effectively. And you may have let go of some stuff that are already in bins, and you can reuse those bins. Make way when you go to declutter a room, start with the door entrance and go around the room clockwise. That way you can make your room, go around your room clockwise, going through each drawer, bin, and cabinet that you would come to. Strike that balance between being quick and being thorough, since you only have the weekend. So if you could see everything in the drawer or bin, you don't feel the need to empty the drawer completely. If you see a drawer and it's already nice and everything in there you're going to keep, then don't empty the whole thing out. But if you don't know what's in the drawers, or if there are items that you need to go through and see if they are still useful, then empty that drawer out completely so that you can see what you're keeping and what you're getting rid of. If you come to a bin or drawer where you can't clearly see everything, then you're going to have to empty it all out. Or if there are bins, if you were in a room where everything's mixed together, like the kids' toy room, then you would want to dump everything out and declutter everything all together. Once you've repeated this process with every drawer, bin, cabinet, and space, then you can carry any of the full discarded bags either to the trash recycling or to the area that you've designated for donate sell items. And then that you will tackle on Monday. You will go ahead and get rid of all those items. Now I have a short little bit of information. I'm going to go over some ideas on how to make decisions on things. When you're decluttering, you're going to keep the best, and those are the items that you are going to enjoy. Start with decluttering the easiest items. You know what you love, you know what you like and what you want to keep. Make those decisions first. Create space for the things you plan to keep. Make sure you are in the right mindset. We already talked about that. Working through sentimental items can stir emotions, so be sure to start with a healthy mindset. And give yourself grace. Give yourself grace as you plug away at these projects. Work in 20-minute segments. Well, in this case, you're decluttering. This is just general tips for decluttering. But in this case, you are working on, if you're working on the whole house in a weekend, you're going to keep the momentum. But if you're going to space this out over time, you can feel free to work in 20-minute increment segments. Reward yourself when you're finished, and don't be hard on yourself if you don't get everything done in one sitting. It's an ongoing process. If you're not trying to get this all done in one weekend, then it's even after you declutter over the weekend, it's still an ongoing process. It's something that you're going to have to maintain and keep up with. In many cases, you will find letting go on ongoing process. Your feelings will change, your life will change, and the reasons for keeping and letting go will change. Ask for help from an objective friend. Sometimes that's helpful. A friend will tell you, you got to pick a friend that's going to tell you the truth. Use a container. Containers can serve as a guide as to how much to keep. If it fits in the designated container, it stays. If it doesn't fit, remove the items until it does fit. Your container is your container. If it's overflowing, then you need to declutter some more. Think outside the box when donating. Depending on the item, a charity shop might not be the best place to donate. Consider senior centers, schools. And now your maybe pile. These are the items that you're not sure whether or not you want to let go of. Here are some questions to ask. Is this still meaningful? When was the last time I used it? Why do I want this? Where am I going to keep this? When will I use this? Why am I doing this declutter? Always, no matter what you're doing, always find your why. It helps you, your mindset, it helps you motivate you. Can I afford to store this? Can I afford to get this fixed? Do I have other items that are similar? Now, this came from www.sharingajourney.com. You can do this. Few of us readily embrace change, yet life is changing all the time, every single second. Each choice we make leads us toward one thing and away from another. This doesn't mean that we can't or shouldn't take a walk down memory lane or pass along our family history to future generations. What I am suggesting is to be intentional about your life and how you live it. All right. So there you go. These are some ideas for getting as much decluttering done as you can in a weekend. And our next podcast, part 2, will be tackling some questions that come out about decluttering your home, and we will talk about those in the next podcast. All right, guys, I thank you for listening, and those on YouTube, thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next show.